we've talked about ways to get competitive periods in practice with the lack of preseason. Do you anticipate going deeper into camp with ones versus ones and team drills? And how quickly are you going to have to transition to more game planning stuff?
I think at least for the first 2 weeks here that we're going to be more focused on what we do, and then as we progress, like you mentioned, when we get into September, then we'll start turning our attention elsewhere. But right now is a great time for us to evaluate everybody and see where we're at.
Wes Hodquitz.
Hey, Matt, do you have me okay?
I got you, Wes.
Awesome. With Rashan Gary, we're going to be talking to him a little bit later. I just want to ask you, first off, what kind of shape you thought he came back in? He looks a little bit leaner, looks pretty good in that regard. And then also just what your expectations are for him now in year 2.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing you can never question is how Rashan goes after it and his work ethic. He came back in phenomenal shape, and I saw a lot of his videos he was posting all the entire off season. So he's always working. I think just more than anything else, just the being in year 2 of the system for him, it's important that he continues to learn the details and understands exactly what he's supposed to do on each and every play. And I think the only way that that's going to come about is for him to show that in practice.
Jason Wilde.
Hey, Matt, can you hear me today?
I got you, Jason.
Okay, that's a win for me. AJ only caught 21 passes in college. We talked to you about that after the draft, but he had a nice catch today. His position coach thinks he can do it pretty well in the NFL. What do you think, and how do you know whether or not, unless it's just through practices, that you can get a feel for whether or not he's able to do that sort of thing?
Yeah, I think he's definitely demonstrated the ability to show those natural hands. He can reach and pluck it out in front of him. And, to your point, it's more or less just getting that experience throughout practice and putting him in situations where he has to do it. And today he showed that he can.
Mike Spofford.
Hey, Matt, just wondering, with Tim Boyle being in his second year in the system, I know it's just a couple of days, but are you seeing a young quarterback who just looks more comfortable and more confident than maybe the guy you saw at the beginning of last year?
Yeah, absolutely. I think really everybody that's returning looks more comfortable and looks more confident. But again, we're 2 days into this thing, and as we continue to progress, the installs build upon each other, and we'll see where he's at then.
Mike Clemens.
Was today more reps at 11-on-11 team drills than you normally see for a second practice? No 7-on-7. Is that just because of the 2 weeks you've had for walkthroughs and the meetings? Yeah,
we've kind of transitioned away from the 7-on-7, try to get more team pass to make it just that's game-like. And, for the quarterbacks to feel that pass rush around them, I think it's going to, do us more valuable or more value to be in those team pass situations.
Steve McGargy.
You had mentioned Rashan earlier, but I'm just wondering about both your first-round picks from a year ago, Rashan and Darnell. From the little practice y'all have had so far and just the meetings, Zoom sessions, and everything, what's the biggest thing they seem to have learned? What's the biggest difference you see in them now that they've had a year of experience?
I think it's just that experience, and I think with that comes a lot of confidence. And I've seen it with Darnell, just his ability to communicate and direct traffic on the back end. It's been pretty impressive.
Tom Silverstein.
Hey, Matt.
Hey, Tom.
I don't know if it was just a part of your install today, but it did seem like there were a lot of balls to the backs, and you got them involved quite a bit. Is that something you intend to do a lot or more this year than you did in the past?
I mean, we're always looking at different ways to get our playmakers the ball, but I think it's more of a product right now of our install in that schedule.
Aaron Nagler.
Coach, Aaron mentioned how much he thought the first practice was really sharp and people were on point mentally. What did you think today when the shells were on? I know you're not full pads yet, but it's a little more physical. And what did you think of the tempo?
Yeah, I thought the tempo again was good. It just, we're putting the quarterbacks and our offense on the shot clock, and I thought just getting in and out of the huddle it's night and day from where it was a year ago. We only had to blow the whistle one time for a delay, but no, I've been pretty impressed with just their leadership out there and their command and everybody else responding, getting out of the huddle with urgency and to the line of scrimmage.
Bill Huber.
Hey, Matt, I hit too many stoplights on the way here, so perhaps you've been asking, so I apologize. But with Tyler Ervin, this is his 5th year. His first 4 years, he really didn't make any impact on offense anywhere. What did you see there? Because it looks like he could be a real weapon for you.
I think he kind of displayed that last season in the return game, and he is an explosive player. He's pretty elusive. It definitely, we have Adam Stenovich, who was his O-line coach for a year at San Jose State, and he's been in our ear about what type of playmaker Swerve, as we like to call him, can be. And so, we're just going to continue to try to give him opportunities to see what he can do.
Rob Domofsky.
Hey, Matt.
Hey, Rob.
The fact that we saw Vernon Scott kind of around the ball a couple times today, was that a surprise to you, or did that stuff show up on his college tape?
No, not a surprise. He definitely showed that ability in college, and I think anytime it'll be interesting when I go back and look at the tape, because there were a couple times where he's got to be careful as the post player, being too shallow so the balls don't get thrown over his head. But no, he definitely has great instincts, and we expect him to be a playmaker.
Jim Ozarski.
Good afternoon, Matt.
Hey, Jim.
You coming in, you had talked about how Josiah was processing the playbook, and you liked the intelligence coming out. But I guess it's one thing to think it; it's another for him to show it. You've obviously put a lot on him in these 2 days. Can you just speak to that and what he really showed you to kind of put him in all these different spots right away?
Yeah, we knew pretty early on throughout our Zoom meetings in that virtual offseason just how football came to him. And not only that, just how hard he works at it. And so that's a credit to him. And, the more that he can show that he can handle, we're going to continue to try to stress him in other ways and just see how far he can go.
Mark Daniels.
Hey, Matt, can you hear me all right?
Mark, I got you.
Can you just talk about how you're going to keep rotating Billy, Lane, and Ricky over on that right side, and not only evaluating how they're doing at each of their positions, but how each of the different kinds of combinations are kind of gelling together? Is that going to help you steer you toward your decision?
Yeah, I definitely. Right now, we're so early, and we want to just continue to mix and match those combinations and, try to let it play out, which it usually does.
Pete Doherty.
Hey, Matt, you went inside a couple times a day. Are you already working on some stuff in most days for the opener for the first couple games?
No, not really right now. It's more or less to save our field a little bit with particularly the first part of practice. We want to that's 30 minutes off the grass because we need that for the duration of the season.
Tom Silverstein.
Hey, Matt, do you have sorry, I'm going to turn my volume down. Do you have a plan yet for pads? Are you going to go in tomorrow, or is it still Wednesday or Thursday?
No, we'll be in full pads tomorrow.
Jason Wilde.
Matt, we asked so many questions about Aaron after the draft. I was probably as guilty as anybody. I'm wondering what you've seen from him in 2 days, though. He looks fit, happy, and he looks like he's having fun out there. I'm wondering what your observations have been.
You don't ever ask any Aaron questions, do you?
One or two.
Okay. No, I'll tell you what, he's been so much fun to be around, not only on the field, but in the meeting room as well. And he's bringing great energy. He's been super positive, and I'm really excited to, be in year 2 with him.
We have time for a few more. Brandon Kennard.
Hey, Matt, I know you've talked a little bit about your calf and how it's healing up from last year, but I was just watching you out there today, do things like simulate coverage with Aaron Jones and, throw balls to the DBs and things like that. You're obviously in better shape than you were at this time a year ago. So how much of a benefit is that really, just to be able to be more active and engage the players a little bit more?
Yeah, I think that's why you get into coaching, to those relationships and to teach with your guys, being out on the grass, and obviously when you're able to move around, it makes it a lot easier and a lot more fun. So I'm just really glad that we've got a great doctor here in Green Bay, and Dr. Anderson. He was able to take care of me, and then being able to work with Flea for most of the offseason and Nate Weir. They did a great job of helping me get back.
We have time for two more. Bill Huber.
Having lost 2 months of development, what do you think of Jordan's footwork? Is it going to be a big work in progress, or is he pretty far along, relatively speaking?
Yeah, it's definitely a work in progress. There's a lot going on in his mind right now, just trying to, decipher the play and what he has to do, and then you got to read coverage. So I think that's, to be expected for any young quarterback. I do think he's worked at it pretty hard, and, it's going to take a countless number of reps for that muscle memory to set in, but we certainly are excited about him, and he's just got to take it and build upon each day.
Last one, Jason Wilde.
Matt, you said you're going pads tomorrow. We're going to talk to Elton in a couple of minutes. At what point, was it maybe when the pads went on, but at what point did you realize last year you had something special in him?
I think it was about towards the end of the preseason. We were pretty excited about him, and he certainly didn't disappoint. I felt like he was a guy that, when he got his opportunity, he made the most of it, and he got better and better and better. And, like most rookies, that season's extremely long, and it gets tough. But, I love Elton. I love what he's all about. He fits in great with that offensive line room, and just really excited about where his future could go.
All right, Coach, that's it. Thanks for your time.
All right, thank you. Take care.